All right. Master Duel's been out for a couple days. We've had a bunch of tournaments. A lot of people are overwhelmed. We have a bunch of top decks. We have a great chat, a great stream, a great Discord of multiple different decks. You're confused, right? Well, I'm going to tell you the top 3 cards to craft because I know a lot of people are going, here are 20, really sneezing during my freaking video. You're fired. They're giving you just giant lists of cards to craft, and you're like, all right, great. Which one do I craft over the other? Well, I'm going to give you more guidance. We have objective information now. The objective information using the search icon by popularity. The results are in. The most popular cards you should craft, I believe every deck should use these, maybe besides Drytron, because they're a broken deck that they can't fit these cards. Otherwise, even they should probably do this. You want Ash Blossom. You want Maxi. You want Called by the Grave. These are the big 3. Why do you want these 3? Oh, but what about Nibiru and this and that? These are the big 3, okay? You're going to put these 8 cards in all of your decks, and you could be pretty much good from just then and there. There are a lot of other good cards though. You could choose a pot for your deck. So for example, I'll show you how do you choose a pot. And we're uploading more and more decks every single day. What you could do is you could type Pot of D. That's Pot of Desires. Here are all the decks using Pot of D. The other big pot is Pot of P. Pot of P. Here are the decks using Pot of P. So that's how you choose between Pot of D and Pot of P. Pot of D is draw 2. The Pot of P is dig off the top 6 cards of your deck to get the good card. It says disparity here, but it's Pot of Prosperity, okay? Dig 6 cards deep for a card. Now, what decks don't use the pots? Let's up arrow pot. This is going to be decks that have no pot. They're potless. The potless decks look like to be the Leerlust Tri-Brigade, the Drytron deck. So these are decks not using pot because they have so many combos within them. They just don't have room for pot. So generally, otherwise your deck's going to want pot. It looks like Adamancipator doesn't care for pot. No pot. Otherwise, you're going to, let's get back to focus. Why do you want these 3 cards? Ash, Max, and Called by the Grave. Well, Ash Blossom is the big one. You need 3. We were just talking about pot, right? This negates pot. This will ask you if you would like to activate this card. It's not like Maxi, which will bother you. This is going to bother you a lot. It's going to keep asking, do you want to activate? Do you want to activate? No, 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 no. If you have no idea what you're doing in Master Duel and you have 3 Ash Blossom in your deck, you could literally just click yes whenever she pops up, as long as it's not in response to your own card, okay? If your opponent activates something and you don't want to read it, don't read it. But Ash Blossom says, hello, sir. Can I, maybe activate? Yes. Drop her, activate her. Just do it. And you're negating them from adding a card, special summoning a card, or sending a card from the deck to the grave. You don't even have to read them. As a new player, just activate Ash when she's asking you to be activated. When you get better, you could start reading their cards and know specifically what you should negate. If your opponent Max sees you, you could Ash it. If your opponent activates a pot, you can negate the pot. Negate them from drawing 2. That's why she is the number 1 card to craft your 2nd and 3rd copy. Do not craft your 1st copy. I swear, if you do that, I'm going to find you. I'm adjusting myself. I can't do it on stream. The 1st copy is going to be free. The 1st copy is free from a bundle. You want to craft your only 2. Only craft 2. The first one's free. All right? Do not screw that up. Maxi, you need this. Why do you need this? Well, I think I already made a video dedicated. There you go. The top recommended. The reason to craft Maxi. Every time I use Maxi on the ladder, most of the time, the opponent has to end their turn or do what's called the Maxi challenge. They always fail the Maxi challenge. When you activate this card, you're gonna draw every time your opponent special summons. And when people are on the ladder, they're gonna be crazy. They're just gonna be memorizing their combo from their guide. They may not even know that you Maxied, and they're just gonna do their full combo. They're just looking at YouTube. Okay, summon, summon, summon. They end their turn, and then you have 20 cards in your hand and they have no idea why. And then you're Keck Wing. So this is insane. This will end your turn if they use it against you, and it will end their turn if you use it against them. It's so good. It's banned in the TCG, so make use of that. But there are TCG conspiracy theorists. They're literally wearing tinfoil hats. They're saying that this card may get banned soon in Master Duel. Maybe they're right. Maybe aliens do exist. Maybe they don't. So it's up to you if you want to objectively craft the best card in the game alongside Ash, or be afraid that it might get banned one day. Maybe it will. Who knows? So the Ash, again, is going to stop the Maxi. Now, these cards are so good that the third card is pretty much dedicated to just stopping these cards. Called by the Grave. So good it's limited too. You target a monster in the opponent's graveyard, you banish it, and then it's negated. And the same name of other cards are negated. So if you're making your plays, they Maxi, you have to end your turn, or you can activate Called by the Grave. This is sent to the graveyard as a cost to activate from the hand. So you will Called by the Grave, banish the Maxi, now you're good. What if they have another? They can't, because you can only use one per turn. So the best thing to counter Maxi is you using 3 Ash Blossom and 3 Called by the Grave to stop them from Maxiing you. That's going to be the main card to stop. The whole format really is around Maxi right now. It's insane. Called by the Grave is also very good against the 2 top decks at the moment. The 2 top decks at the moment, we have Tri-Brigade and Drytron. So let's open up them. If they activate to search with Nerval, you could Called by the Grave it to negate the search. That's going to piss them off. If you are playing against Drytron and they activate any of these Drytrons in the graveyard to summon onto the field, I would probably Ben 10 is a really good pick. The chat could give you advice. Chat, what do you think Called by the Grave on the Drytron is best to use on? If they tribute Ben 10's searching so much and they keep doing Ben 10. They keep Ben 10ing. It's pissing me off when they do it. If you Called by the Grave their Ben 10, no more searches for the turn with Ben 10 that they keep reusing. Otherwise, if you don't want to think about it, just if they activate anything in the graveyard, just like Ash Blossom, just Called by the Grave it. If their graveyard is activating, you'll see like a chain link 1 symbol in their graveyard, just banish it. And then when you get better at the game, you understand what's going on, you will learn to activate it at the right time. You'll know what their combo is that you could activate in the middle instead of the start. Otherwise, when the Ash Blossom and the Called by the Grave are asking you to activate because there's something in the graveyard that's activating, or the Ash Blossom is just activatable, just do it. Maxi, how do we use this though? If you don't know how to use it, generally, if your opponent activates an effect to special summon, that is when you are going to chain Maxi to get that draw 1 right away. A pro player will say, in this scenario, that scenario, and in this scenario, you should activate it in the draw phase. You should activate it right away. That's when you learn the game more, okay? We're not getting into advanced tactics here. If you're, for example, knowing that you're going to play against a Cyber Dragon, that you know they're going to summon Cyber Dragon, this doesn't activate in the hand. So you would if you want to draw off of them summoning Cyber Dragon, you would have to Maxi before they summon the Cyber Dragon. But that's too advanced for you. Just if they activate to special summon, they activate a fusion card, activate the Maxi. All right, so those are the 3 cards. Maxi, Ash Blossom, Called by the Grave. If I put them in order, probably Ash Blossom is a bigger priority, I'd say, because it stops the opponent's Maxi and it's easier to activate. Another tip I could tell you is we call it the toggle button. It's right around here when you're playing. If your Maxi is asking you to activate it while you're trying to do your own combos, that could be annoying. If you turn your toggle off, your trigger effects will still ask you to activate, but your Maxi will no longer bother you. If you have a trigger effect in your hand, you need your toggle to auto or on, or it won't ask you. So as long as your trigger effects, for example, hopefully I'm not confusing you here, if you're playing as Tri-Brigade, when sent to the graveyard it activates, when sent to the graveyard it activates, these are trigger effects. With your toggle off, the game will not ask you to Maxi yourself, and they will still ask you to use these effects. So I generally, while playing, I turn toggle off, so my quick effects are not bothering me like Maxi. This will be very annoying with toggle auto or on when you're trying to learn the game. So just remember, toggle off generally is going to be okay to perform your combos without being asked to use your Maxi. And I'm gonna do honorable mentions real quick. I don't want this video to be too long. So the honorable mentions here are going to be Impermanence. Very good card. I think if Maxi was banned like it is in TCG, it would be higher up on the list. It's just, we don't have as much room in the deck, but a lot of people are still playing it. You can click on any of these cards on masterduelmeta.com to just see their usage. You could see what deck's using it and how much. You could see the examples. So do that research in addition to choosing. Droplet is really good. It negates multiple monsters on the field. Very popular. We're just looking at popular cards. Nibiru, very good. They summon 5 times, tribute their whole field. But I'm still committing to telling you the top 3 are Maxi, Ash Blossom, and Called by the Grave. We keep going down. Twin Twisters, good generic card. Destroy back row. Lightning Storm, it's for free with the bundle. You could pop back row and monsters. Harpy Feather Duster is not free. I think a lot of people got it randomly. Crossout Designator, this might be rising up soon. If everyone's using Ash and Maxi, you could banish your own card to negate their card. It's kind of like Called by the Grave, but less consistent, I'd say. And DD Crow has been having synergy with Tri-Brigade. That's why it's kind of up here. And that's it. That's the video. Hope you enjoy it. I don't know how I did the start of this video. Gia will check it or someone will edit it. Thank you so much. Top 3 cards to craft. Let's go.